When you're alone in the desert with limited resources, trying to create a desert oasis, sooner or later you start praying for things like water, obviously. When I showed up to the ranch in early July, I was alarmed to see this damage on the lower dam. Barely receiving rain this year has really been a blessing in disguise. If I'd received a heavy monsoon rain of, say, 2 inches, this could have been catastrophic. I'm building water retention structures as one of the key elements of building my desert forest. The goal isn't to trap water and to make a pond. Instead, the goal is to get as much water under the surface as possible where the wind and the sun cannot steal it from me. I started working on these in December 2023, and so far, they haven't been used once, not in any meaningful sense. To my knowledge, these bigger earthen dams haven't had a single drop of water behind them because we are officially in an extreme drought. NOAA says we have normal odds for the remainder of monsoon season, and I really hope they're right because so far, Dustups has barely had over 3 inches of rain for the year, and about half of it has fallen as barely detectable rain like it did earlier this week, 0.03 inches. I mean, I'm glad to have it, but it's going to take a lot of those to add up to anything meaningful. And honestly, for the rain that really matters and drives the vegetation growth, we need at least a ½ inch to really move the needle. And the stuff that gets plants germinating out here, you need as far over an inch of rain as you could possibly get. But keep your heads held up high because I'm still making progress. The cactus is growing. Some of the seeds from the trees are up. We are making progress even in an extreme drought. But first, let's make sure that we don't have any dam washouts. I just pulled up near the terrace. I'm on top of the second dam, and I found this. I don't know how much that comes out on camera, but that was on its way to being catastrophic. And I'm also noticing that most of the fine sediment and the silt looks like it was caught in the stream bed, which is great. So let's see how far down this damage goes. Wow, powder fine. You can see my footprints. Here's an advantage of a check dam. Loads and loads and loads of sediment. That clearly flowed. That had some sticks through it. This is just from 2/3 of an inch. I got really lucky that I haven't had severe rain yet. And you can see how miscolored the entire stream bed is. One little advantage to having a mini washout is it looks like the check dams have captured a great deal of the silt. They should be more effective at retaining water going forward. Let's go up and over. There's a kind of plunge over down here. Let's see if we can find a spot where the silt kind of slows down. There we go. Hey, look down there. It's still wet. It rained over a week ago, and that filled in quite a bit. Not how I would have wished for things, but definitely an improvement in a bizarre way. It looks like the silt deposition kind of peters out over here. You can see it stops right here. And then by the time you get to this check dam, it's pretty quiet. No giant silt buildup. Nothing's really happened in here. So we didn't get very much runoff, and it looks like that was a good thing. I have an opportunity to fix that dam. Well, I didn't even need to fix it. I need to finish it. And I thought it's pretty unlikely to fill up, but I clearly have the wrong shape. Let's go look at the dam and I'll walk you through what I think I did wrong. What I'm showing you is just a little bit of damage that can happen from 2/3 of an inch. Now, as we're coming into monsoon season, I want to make sure that I best prepare these water retention structures as possible so that they are as unlikely as possible to be damaged by the rain that they're supposed to benefit from. This is the easiest one where it runs right down here, and it clearly flowed from along the side of the road up to the top there. So this just relates to the angle of the road, where this is serving as basically a riverbank, and we got to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut some diversions to make sure water doesn't flow all the way down here to the bottom on the road itself, and I'm going to have to do the same thing on the other side of the road. And it wasn't clear to me where's the water coming from that it would push down on that side of the road. And what I realized, it's coming from this slope that the Suburban's parked on. The slope, I'm exaggerating, but it's like this, where the water's flowing down this side. I basically need to make sure that the water never gets here. I intended to do this trip anyway, This is where the spillway goes, and this is what I had planned to do now that we're coming into the peak monsoon season, is just put the spillway right here and then have it come across. And of course, all that water from up there just goes right into the spillway and will drop down. So that should avoid most of the pressure on this side, and that looks like it was the cause of the problem. I'm really surprised because I don't think I saw any other signs of runoff anywhere else on the property. But that makes me want to go check on the other dam and make sure there's no damage there either. So let's go check that out. The first dam I built, in which I said I'm 95, 98% done, looks like it's done just fine. So we had a little bit of erosion here on the road where you can see where the flow went, but it landed right in the spillway. Some of it went into these rocks that I've been stacking up just to make the drive a little nicer. And over time, I'll bring the dump trailer here. But you can see the spillway, even though it hasn't actually spilled from behind the dam, it did work. Water flowed down this way, and you can see where it took its little path and went through the stones. Not very much water at all, but it's going the right way. And this is fine. This could tolerate a whole bunch of erosion and be okay. We got a very minor problem on the other side. You can see where I've driven before, and water has channeled down to here and spilled. This part of the dam is a little too narrow. It's uncomfortable with a trailer, and I've got it angled the wrong way. So as water sheets on this, it's flowing on the backside of the dam, which can be extremely dangerous. What I want to do is I want to cut up on the road over there where the water will never get here in the first place. Let's just keep the water away from the dam, and that way I don't have to worry about the road itself acting as the source of the washout. And where I want to add the cut to take the pressure off the road is right about here. And if it flows down the hill, give all those plants and seeds that I put down a nice healthy drink. Normally I'd say check out my new shades, but I've already worn these glasses for a year thanks to Warby Parker, who's sponsoring today's episode. Warby Parker has every type of frame to suit your style. There's bold and eye-catching, or you can play it safe and go with understated like I'm wearing. I love the look of these glasses. The frames are all made with premium materials. My glasses don't have frames here on the bottom, so it's really important that it's made with the absolute best possible craftsmanship. I'm a year into these frames and I wear them all the time on the Dustups ranch. Warby Parker has an amazing feature that lets you try on the glasses virtually. You can shop for glasses at home and experience the color, texture, and size of each style. Go use the virtual try-on tool at warbyparker.com or use the app to find the perfect pair of sunglasses or glasses. Add a pair and save 15% off when you purchase 2 or more prescription glasses or sunglasses. This offer is available both at home and in stores. Again, you can find all of that at warbyparker.com, or you can install the app. Off in the distance over that way towards Mexico, it's raining pretty hard. I've been watching the weather for the last probably hour and a half. I went for a run and just tried to calm down and get ready for a long day tomorrow, hoping that this rain would come in, and it looks like, just like it has been all summer, a big nothing burger. It's gonna miss Dustups. Breaks my heart so much to say that. We're getting a couple of raindrops. See off in the distance, it doesn't look like we're gonna get too much, so it's nice to have the cool weather, but I think it's just teasing me for the most part. I'm up for being wrong. I gotta turn on the master switch. It felt really good to be back on the Dozer. I haven't done any substantive Dozer work since March or April, so I'm going to be honest, I love my toy and it's really fun, but that hasn't been a priority, so it's been on the back burner. But now that I've got it up and running, I'm trying to do 2 things. I'm raising the dam height so that it's comfortably above the spillway. And then, of course, I needed to finalize the spillway on this second dam so that I'm ready for major rain events. I've been content to leave it until now because the chances of us getting enough rain to fill that dam are extremely low. It's not the best choice, but it's kind of the practicality of having a 2-man band. We got a lot of priorities, and sometimes you got to make the least bad decision. I parked the Dozer as soon as I realized there was a leak. And I was hoping that either Daniel or my equipment mentor, Dale, might have some ideas for a bush fix. There's no bush fix and there's nothing to hammer on this. The gland just needs to be resealed and repacked. I have a dam that might wash out, and we have you know, we're in the middle of monsoon season, so I thought about fixing it with hand tools. And my current plan, if I operate the dozer and all I do is lift up and down, it shouldn't pressurize that cylinder. I should be able to dig 45-degree angles and at least feel confident that the road isn't going to wash out the dam. I've always been worried about the water behind the dam, not the water actually on the dam. So let's go fix this. Really not proud of that one, but I think it was the least bad of two terrible choices. I either let my dam get washed out or I dripped some hydraulic fluid. And looking at the gauge, I didn't lose very much fluid, although that is ugly and I can't run unless that is a near emergency, and I think a dam washing out, that's an emergency. This dozer is just killing me. I managed to get enough cuts on the road to prevent the same kind of damage that you saw here in the video, but I need to get all of the cylinders repacked. That is happening as we speak. The only major overhaul item that's pending on the dozer is the undercarriage needs a complete replacement, but that's not a showstopper right now. That's something I can probably do in the winter or maybe even early next year. There's always the balance of some people hate me doing any earthworks at all and destroying some local vegetation, while the other half wants to see me get on a dozer and dig swales everywhere as fast as possible. It's really helpful to feel my way through the process, go slow, not be in a giant hurry. Generally, the best way to avoid making catastrophic mistakes. The virtue of going slow is that I see a little minor rain event on a dam and I don't have to fix 30 dams, I have to fix 2. Dustups is located 38 miles by road southeast of Sierra Blanca, Texas. And the first 33 miles or so is county road, which means that I am not responsible for maintaining it. I'm happy that the county takes care of that because there's no way I could do this project without the county providing the access. I've been ranting for a while about the way the county maintains the road. These guys come out here and they fix the road. I don't control the way they're going to grade. They basically just fix the road so it's good enough for now without thinking about how it's going to break. And look at this washout. They funneled all of the water into this same spot, and it was completely obvious that this was going to happen. And now the road is closed, and they ruined somebody's not cheap cattle guard, crossing guard either. What does kind of suck though is I always enjoyed this part of the drive because this does get the most water. So you see all this beautiful grass here. But looks like I won't be driving this way for now. I have to deal with the workaround. Not ideal and pretty bumpy, but at least I can still cross. Hey there, boys. Surprised they're not afraid of me. But we have tons of wild Mustangs out here, especially on my river property. They'll come up on the game camera constantly. It's interesting to see what they're eating. Let's go look at that real fast. I don't recognize this, but I'll have to look it up. Oh, hey. This is a clumping grass that I want to take cuttings of. I've been looking for it, so now I know where to find some grass to take and transplant. We'll get that up on the terrace on my way back. I don't know for an absolute fact that those two particular stallions are feral, but I believe so, because I know on the UTEP land that surrounds me, it's a problem that they have where they really don't like having the wild horses there because it's not part of the native landscape. It's a little surreal to deal with road washouts when my own ranch has barely had any rain. I haven't had any of the benefits of the rain, but I'm dealing with all of the aftermath of thunderstorms falling all across the valley, pretty much everywhere except my section. If there's rain falling anywhere near or above the road, eventually that water is going to make its way, flow over the road on its way to the Rio Grande and take some of the road with it. I was driving down the road and I think I found a little patch of grass called Little Blue Stem. I do have seeds that I bought from Native American Seed that have quite a bit of Little Blue Stem in them, but I do want to try transplanting just to see if we can propagate them by plugs rather than seeds. And this is part of the reason that I always travel with a shovel. I'm taking this grass from county land, so I don't want to go crazy digging up every healthy grass bunch that I see. My goal is to take a few samples and then take them to the ranch where I multiply them. There are plenty of failures along the way, and propagating grass is one of them. A few months ago, I tried transplanting side oats grama from my ranch into these little black pots. And what happened instead is that the sun baked them to death. Even with the supplemental water, the heat was just way too much in the middle of the summer. So I have quickly learned that putting the grass into black pots in the sun, not a great idea. I didn't plant all the seeds at once because we're trying to give the tree seeds the opportunity to germinate. But when it comes to creating mulch and retaining moisture in the soil, grass is going to be my fastest producer of organic matter. It's also the best type of mulch that I can use because it holds water the longest. Here you're watching me do a little bit of pruning, and I'd like to thank Irene, who saw the secateurs on my Amazon wish list. Irene, thank you. These are getting put to good use. It's at this point in the video that I'm tempted to go into the science of explaining why pruning is such a good idea and how it works, but honestly, I don't know how it works. I just know that pruning the roots and the tops of the grass makes it grow faster. It has something to do with the plants being more efficient with their water and some kind of hormone response that makes them grow and seek out water, but that's the extent of my knowledge. I'm really pruning because that's what I believe I'm supposed to do. The one mistake I'd made is planting the grass in the middle of the rows. Tiago was encouraging me to plant the grass along the edge of the mulch rows, and then that way they get a little more temperature protection, but also they're not going to be competing with my young tree saplings for precious light that's required to get them to germinate. If there's one thing I've learned from this project, it's the virtues of going slow. My goal is to learn while not making catastrophic mistakes, and I think that's very much the case. The terrace is looking amazing. It's clearly working. The cactus is growing, the trees are popping up, and also later this week I'll be working on the fencing to keep out all the animals and the cattle. So once that's in place, I feel like it's just a matter of time, and we just need to keep on trucking and moving forward, and we'll make this desert forest happen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.